Bereshit chapter 2 and verse number 7 says that Elohim formed the man out of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of lives. Then it says, and the man became a living being. Another translation says, a speaking spirit. Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah, day number 1 of a double Torah portion, Matot Masei, that is tribes and journeys. We began with an understanding of the value of our words. As we look into this Torah portion beginning in chapter number 30 and verse 1, Yah begins to address man, at least the men of Israel, about the potential of power in their words when they make a vow. So when a man affirms before Yah that he will do, he will perform, or he will abstain from, Yah holds him accountable to his words. Words have power. Anyone that has ever been verbally abused will tell you that they have crucifying, damaging, abusing power. Anyone that has heard a word of correction, a word of exhortation, a choice word that is like apples of gold on platters of silver, they can tell you that words can heal, they can elevate you. What comes out of your mouth really does matter. When he was teaching in Kfar Nahum, the village of Nahum the prophet, Yeshua said, unless you eat the flesh of the son of Adam and drink his blood, you possess no life in yourselves. He who eats my flesh and drinks my blood stays in me and I in him. The crowd said, this word is hard. Who is able to hear this? Sometimes words are over our head. We hear people speaking. We identify the words that they're saying. We don't understand what they're meaning. Their words hold too much power for us and our wisdom and level of understanding, and it goes over our head. There is creative power in your words. You can create a mood, you can create a response, you can manipulate, you can control. But Yah says, listen, I'm paying attention to what you're saying. You will be judged for every idle word that comes out of your mouth. Man, that scripture scares me. But let's look again. Yeshua said also, the words that I speak to you, they are spirit and they are life. When you agree with what Yah has said, then the same ruach, breath, wind of Yah that announced the words originally begins to affirm and confirm through your own lips what Yah has said. There is power in that word. It's quoting his word. It's declaring his word. But we also know that there are those who take this a bit too far. There is doctrinal belief, I'll put it that way, that says that if I quote the word, it has to come to pass, well, because I confessed and quoted the word. Oftentimes, though, we have prayed over someone who was at the point of death and believed that the Father's word that says, by his stripes you were healed. We claim that, we believe that, we announce that over the one that is sick and at the point of death. Sometimes they're healed, sometimes they're taken across the veil and healed there. What happened? Were we wrong in the way that we said it? Not necessarily so. Yah still has sovereign choice. Yah still has a will that we don't see or understand, we not have had an ability to perceive. Yah still has the right to supersede our desires. You see, Yah has no pleasure in the death of the wicked, but the death of those that are righteous, it's a sweet homecoming for him. And he knows what we don't know, what we don't understand. We've heard the religious rhetoric from pulpits. about grand ministries and saving our communities, and revival is coming and healing is coming, and on the promises go in a religious setting. And then we become disgusted and discouraged, disappointed when people lose their focus, and instead of building a righteous ministry unto Yah and in behalf of the people, they build a personal kingdom instead. We've all heard the words and promises of politicians for a better America, and I speak for the American people, yada, yada. They get into office, and it seems like, do you not remember what you said? Hello, you were talking about me. Things get turned around. Well, we found out that it couldn't work that way. So we've all heard the words that proved to be illegitimate. But Yah's word still stands. It's an amazing thing. For thousands of years, this word has been announced. It's been believed. It's been walked in. It's been trampled upon. It's been sought to be destroyed, but his word remains. And his word is still functioning and bringing to pass everything that the Father has promised. If you were to read today's headlines, you'd see the word in there. You would understand that Yah is still on the move. Listen to what the word says about the word. To Jeremiah, Yah says, see, I have put my words in your mouth. To Isaiah, he says, see, this coal has touched your lips. Your crookedness is taken away, and your sin is covered. Eliyahu Hanavi, Elijah the prophet, walked into King Ahab's throne room, and he said, there shall be no dew nor rain these years, except at my word. That's bold. And Matthew, Yeshua encouraged us, let your yes be yes, and your no be no. And again, he says, I have given them your word. In Yochanan or John chapter 17. He gave us the Father's word. In Romans, Rav Shaul says, the word is near you, it's in your mouth, and it's in your heart. And then he proclaimed to Timothy, proclaim the word, convict, warn, appeal with all patience and with all teaching. There's an ability for you and I to take the word of Elohim and not just memorize it to where we can quote it, but to discern its application, to understand those situations where the word would be quickened. It's not given to you and I to be a tool belt where we can walk into any given situation and according to our own thinking, according to our own wisdom, we're going to pull out a verse and we're going to throw it because, well, it just seems to fit. That's not really the activating of the word. There is this process of discerning the heart and the intention of the master and the need. We walk in and the Ruach quickens something to us. Maybe it's not something that we would think would be obvious that it would apply, but we announce the word and then suddenly the power of that word begins to work. You see, the gift of the word of Yah is precious, but it needs to be coupled with discernment. We just can't start quoting verses until we find one that works. We need to know what the word's intention is and what the heart of the Father is behind the word. Now, again, it says that Adam became a speaking spirit. He is of the flesh, that is dust of the earth, yet he is animated by the very life and breath of the creator of all the universe. So in that sense, we're a dichotomy. We're this dual-natured individual. We have the flesh, that's obvious. But then there is the work of the Ruach, the very breath of his spirit, breathing in us, animating us, quickening us, revealing to us what it is instantly with a word of wisdom or a word of knowledge that needs to come forth, a prophetic word, a tongue, an interpretation. The Father knows how to use those things so that the man of the earth can address the one who sits in the heavens and bring forth by our words his will and his intention in our environment. We'll talk more about the power of words tomorrow. And until then, shalom.